Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Rebel Plays YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, October 17th. We've got some Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. I've been hearing that since Monday. I've been ready to talk some NFL action this week. It's going to be a game in New Orleans. The Denver Broncos traveling to take on the Saints. I'll have my best game pick and my two best player props for this game. But first, we got to take a look at some Monday Night Football, the recap graphic. Jets money line. Felt like the Jets should have won this game. Had the coaches bump. Jets offense looked okay besides the kicking game. A lot of penalties in that game. Kind of took the feel away from the game, but I don't know. Felt like I was on the right side, and we didn't win anyway. So 0-1 the game pick. Brees Hall, 56.5 rushing yards. Probably the easiest play you've had all day. I think he finished with close to 100. And then Josh Allen, over 34.5. I mean, he was going out of the pocket all day long, but he was just throwing bombs that were somehow getting caught. So did not hit the over rushing yards. That's all right. 1 and 2 day on Monday Night Football. We're going to bounce back today on Thursday Night Football. Here's a look at that leaderboard. Updated 15 games above 500 in the NFL. Pretty good start to the first 5 or 6 weeks in the NFL season. Let's take a look at the game for Thursday night. Broncos traveling to take on the Saints. It always feels like it's a tough place to play in New Orleans on a standalone game at night. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense maybe to a lot of people, but maybe it's just the past. Maybe it's just Drew Brees and company. But this is a different team right now. The Saints, they're actually one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. It was fun for them over the first 2 games of the season. Everybody thought they were one of the best teams in the NFL, me included. But now we know this is not a very good team. We are going to get to see a pair of rookie quarterbacks go head-to-head. Bo Nix for the Broncos going up against Spencer Rattler and the Saints. We have a lot of injuries in this game, including a double injury for the wide receivers for the Saints. Chris Olave dealing with a head injury, that concussion, and then Rashid Shaheed looks like they're going to place him on the IR. I just saw something on the ESPN bubble that they're going to put him on the IR soon. So it looks like they're not going to play. We also have the Broncos dealing with significant injury of Patrick Surtain. So they're going to be without their best defensive player as well, but they really don't need him in this game because the Saints, they're going to be without their 2 top targets. And they've got Spencer Rattler throwing the ball, who didn't look horrible in the first game against Tampa Bay, but he's not a guy I can trust yet. And I've watched way too much college football over the years, following Bo Nix everywhere he's gone. There's just something about this guy. I like this guy. I think Denver is going to get the job done. They are the more healthy team. I like the way Bo Nix has been playing for the majority of the season. He's made a lot of mistakes, don't get me wrong, but his defense is really good behind him. And the Saints right now, they have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They're actually the worst defense in the NFL so far, giving up nearly 400 yards of total offense per game. I do think the Saints will be able to nickel and dime their way down the field a little bit in this game, but I don't think they're going to be able to put up a big number. The defense of the Broncos is going to be the difference maker in this one. And if Bo Nix can just not turn the ball over, the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, they're going to come into New Orleans and get a big one on the board. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos here, minus 2.5 as the play. Let's go on to the player props. For the player props tonight, looking at 1 Denver Bronco, 1 New Orleans Saint. And we're going to start with the quarterback play. I love everything about this kid. I've already said that. On paper, this is going to be a really good match for him going up against the Saints. He has been pretty good over the last couple games, and he has gone over 200-plus passing yards in 4 of the last 5 games that he's been in. So this number feels like it's a little bit low, kind of insulting. I'm going to take his over, 186.5 passing yards as the play, because the Saints, they've been horrible over the last several games in the secondary. They got a 50-burger hanged on them last week going up against Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield, he had his way in that game with his arm, with his legs. He was running all over the place in that game as well. This defense sets up perfectly for Bo Nix to do his thing. Over 186.5 passing yards. That's not a big number to put up. And he's going up against a team who's giving up 262.2 passing yards per game. Nobody's injured for the Denver Broncos at the wide receiver position. I think Cortland Sutton is in line for a big game. If you're looking for his player props, I think I would take the over receiving yards, maybe even over a 0.5 touchdowns for him getting the end zone in this one. But I mentioned Baker Mayfield last week. He finished that game with 325 yards, 4 touchdowns. If we go back one more week with Patrick Mahomes, he had himself 331 yards going up against the Saints. And if we go back one more week, Kirk Cousins nearly had 250 passing yards going up against this Saints team. So they are giving up big-time yardage to opposing teams. And I do think Bo Nix is getting better and better each game. I know a lot of people might not think he is, but watching him play, I just think he's getting a little bit more confident. Again, he's had over 200-plus passing yards in 4 of the last 5 games. Make it 5 of the last 6. Give me his over 186.5 passing yards as the play here. And then for the last player prop of the day, Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints to go over 33.5 receiving yards against the Broncos. This Denver Broncos team has been really good this season, only giving up 284.4 yards per game. And I do think they're going to be good again against the Saints in this one. The way that I think the Saints will be able to move the ball down the field, like I said, a little nickel and dime, Alvin Kamara, either as a slot receiver or just catching passes out of the backfield. The Saints are going to be without their number 1 and number 2 wide receivers, so I'm sure we're going to see Alvin Kamara a little bit more featured in the passing game. We also have Patrick Surtain out in this game, which helps us a little bit. Usually we don't see a guy like Patrick Surtain coming down and guarding people like Alvin Kamara. In rare cases, we might see a corner or safety covering the running back, but usually that's not the case. But we won't have him lurking in the secondary, which is going to be good for us with Alvin Kamara. We also have a quarterback who's probably not very confident coming into this game, only getting his second start of his career in Spencer Rattler. And whenever a quarterback is not very confident, usually we see him check it down to the running back. Rookie quarterbacks, they do their best to try to get through all those progressions, but at the NFL level, it is easier said than done. You've only got a couple seconds every single time you drop back to make a decision. So sometimes rookie quarterbacks, they get a little bit flustered. They don't see the big play down the field. They'll just check it down in the first couple seconds. We kind of saw that with Alvin Kamara. He had 8 targets last week, only able to reel in 5 of those for 24 yards, but I really think he's going to be effective in the passing game in this one. It's a pretty low line as well, only 33.5. I'll take my chances here. Over 33.5 receiving yards as the play there. Let's take a look at the recap graphic for this game. Broncos, minus 2.5, going up against the New Orleans Saints. We're going to take Bo Nix over 186.5 passing yards against the Saints. And then Alvin Kamara, over 33.5 receiving yards, going up against the Broncos. Guys, it's going to do it for the NFL Plays and Props for Thursday, October 17th slate of games. If you guys enjoy the content, please be sure to drop a like in this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.